What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. I want to take a look at two lightweights who had similar careers, but they were very interesting at the same time. Al Singer and Sammy Mandel would meet each other July 17, 1930, New York's Yankee Stadium. The referee would be Arthur Donovan. And Al Singer would knock out Sammy Mandel. And that was a very interesting fight, and I'll explain why in one moment. But first, let's take a look at these two young men. Al Singer, his name was Abraham Singer. He was also known to the boxing community as the Bronx Beauty. He stood 5'4.5" as a lightweight. He was born September 6, 1906, in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Al Singer died April 20th, 1961. He was 54 years of age at the time of his death. And he would reside in the Bronx, New York. Now, the Lower East Side was a typical location for young Jewish fighters, as for it was a Jewish community. You had fighters such as Ruby Goldstein, Benny Leonard, as I stated, Al Singer. You had Benny Volger and Jaime Bernstein, and many, many others. Al Singer had a total bout career of 73 bouts, 62 wins, 26 knockouts, 9 losses, and 2 draws. And he was in the ring with fighters such as Tony Canzoneri, Jimmy McLaurin, Battling Battalino, and Eddie Cannonball Martin. Eddie Mack, Andre Roches, Pete Zivic, and Charles Bud Taylor. Kid Chocolate, Inicio Fernandez, Pete Nebo, Davey Abad, as well as Dominic Patrol, just to name a few. February and March 1929, Al Singer would face former 1927 World Bantamweight champion Charles Bud Taylor at the New York's Madison Square Garden. He would win in 4 rounds due to a disqualification before 20,000 screaming spectators. July 24th, 1929, Al Singer would defeat champions such as Andre Roches before 29,000 spectators with an untitled bout. And would stop him in 2 rounds. And a technical knockout in Brooklyn's Ebbets Field. August 29, 1929, Al Singer lost 12 rounds to Cuban Bonbon's Kid Chocolate. In the 5th and 8th round, Al Singer would fall to his knees due to overhand rights that was delivered by the Cuban Bonbon. But that wouldn't discourage Al Singer. Al Singer would defeat Sammy Mandel for the New York Sack and the NBA, as well as the Ring Magazine belt, in 1 round, July 17, 1930, in front of 35,000 screaming spectators looking on New York's Yankee Stadium. It took 1 minute and 46 seconds to get the job done in the very first round. But Al Singer would lose badly to Jimmy McLaurin, December 2nd, 1930, in front of 25,000 spectators. November 14th, 1930, he would also lose his crown to Tony Canzoneri. Now, Al Singer is to your right. Sammy Mandel is to your left. Let's talk about him. He stood 5'7" as a lightweight. He was 67 with a reach advantage that would get to his man with jabs and hooks. Now, Sammy Mandel was born February 6, 1904, in Rockford, Illinois. Now, some records would tell you February 5th, some would say February 6th. But he died November 7th, 1967, in Oak Park, Illinois. He was originally from Italy, and he would come to America as a young boy. He was 63 years of age at the time of his passing, fought from 1917 to 1934. Now, some records would tell you 1919. Some would tell you 1917. For the sake of this conversation, we're going to go with 1919. He had a total bout career of 122 bouts, 88 wins, 32 knockouts, 22 losses, and he was stopped 6 times. Now, he would defeat and win the New York Sack and the NBA, as well as the Ring Magazine belt, July 3rd, 1925, at Comiskey Park, Chicago, Illinois. And that was very interesting. Now, August 24th, 1931, Louis Kid Kaplan who had 113 wins. Hurley Stadium, East Hartford, Connecticut. He would also be in the ring October 2nd, 1930, against Spud Myers at the Memorial Coliseum in Cedar Rapids. July 17th, 1930, Al Singer would be in the ring with Sammy Mandel, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. And that's the fight that we're going to be discussing today. March 1st, 1930, he would be in the ring with Jimmy McLaurin at the Chicago Stadium. He would face Tony Canzoneri August 2nd, 1929 at Chicago Stadium. November 4th, 1929, he would face Jimmy McLaurin. But he also be in the ring with fighters such as Billy Patrol, the Fargo Express, Jackie Fields, Rocky Kansas, and Sid Terrace, Jack Bernstein, Jimmy Goodwrench, Babe Herman, and Johnny Dundee, Scott Schwab, Phil McGraw, Memphis Powell Moore, Tony Canzoneri, and Manuel Quinterio. Very interesting. These two men would have similar careers, and they would have similar outcomes. Let's get on with the fight. Now, Sammy Mandel, who stood 5'6", he weighed 134 pounds coming into this match, had a 67-inch reach, and he would earn $45,348. Al Singer would earn $19,549. He would stand 5'4.5". He weighed 134 pounds, as well as Sammy Mandel. Now, what was interesting about this man was that both these guys had similar styles. And Sammy Mandel would be knocked out by Al Singer in one round. Al Singer would take on Tony Canzoneri 6 months later, and he would be knocked out in one round. Al Singer would be in the ring with Bud Taylor and Pete Herman, Chick Suggs, Battling Battalino. Broadway Arena would be some of the arenas that he'd be in the ring with, some of these great fighters. So I just wanted to point out a very interesting similarity between these two men. You see, at that time, you had great lightweights. Tony Canzoneri, Charles Bud Taylor, Al Singer, Sammy Mandel. Rocky Kansas was still hanging around. Lewis Kid Kaplan could punch like hell. Spud Myers, Jimmy McLaurin, who was the babyface assassin. Now at this time, one of the greatest lightweights of all time, Benny Leonard, had retired from the ring. That's why that title was floating around like that. He would retire in 1925, but he would make a comeback in 1932, be in the ring with babyface assassin Jimmy McLaurin, and he'd be stopped in 6 rounds. I'm referring to Benny Leonard. But you had many more, as I mentioned, Chick Suggs and Pete Herman and Pete Zivik. All these fighters were still hanging around during that time. Prime lightweights in the era of the 1930s. So thanks for listening. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters would never be forgotten on my channel. Bison Stadium in Buffalo, June 25th, 1930. Light heavyweight Max Rosenbloom defeats Buffalo's former middleweight and current light heavyweight superstar Jimmy Slattery, 15 rounds in Buffalo, New York. Now, Jimmy Slattery is to your right, and Maxie Rosenbloom is to your left. Jimmy Slattery would lose his crown to Maxie Rosenbloom August 5th, 1931. Maxie Rosenbloom was given 8 rounds, and Jimmy Slattery would win 4 rounds. It would be 3 even. The referee Haley would give Slattery the victor after Rosenbloom had accidentally swung and almost hit him. And the title became vacant. Tommy Loughran, Philly Phantom, had moved up into the heavyweight ranks. And I talked about that in the previous video. New York Sack was owned by Jimmy Slattery, and the NBA was owned by Max Rosenbloom. Jimmy Slattery weighed 166.5 pounds. He had 170. Maxie Rosenbloom weighed 170.75 pounds. He had 171.5-inch reach. Now, the New York Sack and undisputed belts were on the line. 15,000 fans were being inclined to want to sue this fight. Referee was Patsy Haley. Judge was George Kelly. And you also had Judge George Patrick. It was an interesting fight. Maxie Rosenbloom had close to 300 bouts. But Jimmy Slattery would be in the fight of his life when he would take on Dave Shade from California. Now, I just wanted to show you some of the men that we talked about today. This is Sammy Mandel. He was a lightweight champion, and he would have his title taken. Al Singer. You're looking at Tommy Loughran, the Philly Phantom. I brought him up in a video the other day, and in today's conversation, he had relinquished his title as light heavyweight champion. When he would move up to the heavyweight division to try and make that tournament of the vacant belt left over by Gene Tunney. Here you have Eddie Cannonball Martin. Another fantastic fighter. These are all champions that I'm showing you. We're looking at Slappy Maxie Rosenbloom. He was a light heavyweight champion. As you can see, the Star of David on his trunks there. Here you have Tony Canzoneri. Charles Bud Taylor. Another fantastic fighter. He was a bantamweight. He was trained at one time by Jack Blackburn. Dave Shade out of California. Oh, what a war he had with Jimmy Slattery in Buffalo, New York. Scotchwalk, Johnny Dundee. And a Cuban Bong Bong, Kid Chocolate. Now this is from my boxing exhibit card collection. I had to take them out of the sleeve just to show you. I don't like doing that. But I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the fighters that we talked about in this discussion. This is Al Singer. He's from the Lower East Side. He would move to the Bronx, New York. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for watching. Peace.